Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today we're looking at very demure, very mindful,
Oh, yeah.
which took over TikTok. And,
It really did.
there's this whole thing spearheaded by the creator Jules LeBron, where she's kind of playing with the idea of,
Right.
demureness.
Yeah.
So we're going to go beyond just knowing that catchphrase.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got articles that analyze like the whole marketing impact of this, legal battles over trademarking it. We've even got like a deep dive into the meme itself from knowyourmeme.com.
It's fascinating how these things take off and turn into something so much bigger than just like a little phrase.
Right.
It's really interesting.
So get ready, because by the end of this, you'll understand why something that seems so simple actually sparked conversations about everything from like workplace dynamics to the future of marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shall we just dive in?
Yeah, let's
Like, why don't we start at the source?
Okay.
With Jules LeBron herself. Here's the original TikTok audio that really kicked off this whole very demure craze.
Okay.
Let's have a listen.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Even without like the visuals, you can just hear it in her voice, right?
Oh, totally.
Like
You can just hear it.
she's playing with this whole concept of demure, which is like traditionally modesty, being reserved, especially when we think about like a woman's appearance.
Right, right.
Not what you usually think of with a viral TikTok trend, right?
No, not at all. And I think that contrast
Yeah.
is part of what makes it so captivating.
Yeah.
You know, she's anything but shy or understated, but she's using this term demure to describe it, that playful contradiction. I think that's what catches your attention.
Yeah.
And it makes you kind of rethink, what does demure even mean today?
Yeah.
When self-expression and individuality are so celebrated.
Yeah. And it's not even just the words, right? It's LeBron's videos, especially those early ones.
Yeah.
They touched on something I think a lot of women I know I can relate to, like the pressure to present yourself in a certain way,
Oh, absolutely.
especially at work. Remember that video
Yes.
where she was talking about toning down her makeup?
Oh, yeah, for a new job.
Yeah.
That one really resonated because so many women have felt that same pressure to conform,
Yeah.
to these often unspoken but very real expectations about how you should look in a professional setting.
Yeah, and it sparked this whole other conversation, right?
Yeah.
About like, are these rules?
Yeah.
Are they even relevant anymore?
Right. Are they outdated?
Yeah.
Are they just kind of silly at this point?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like she gave a voice to that whole thing.
She did. She really did. And I think, that vulnerability and that honesty is a big part of why people connected with her so strongly. It's like, it wasn't just a funny catchphrase. It was relatable,
Totally.
She was sharing an experience that a lot of people have had.
Totally. And speaking of things that get polished,
Oh.
let's talk about how things took a turn
Okay.
into like trademark territory.
Okay. Yeah.
This is wild to me. Like that
Yeah.
people tried to like capitalize on LeBron's phrase, very demure, very mindful.
I know, it's so interesting how that happens, right? Like legally.
Yeah.
Someone can just kind of come in and be like,
Yeah.
this is mine now.
And there were multiple, weren't there?
There were
Like applications filed.
Yeah, we know Jefferson Bates, Cassandra Pop, Almondia White, and Julian Rosa all filed for it.
Yeah.
And, it might seem unfair, but trademark law is all about, like, first use in commerce.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who, like, thought of it first,
So even though LeBron made it this big thing,
Right.
these other people saw a way to be like,
Yeah.
well, actually, legally,
I can make money off this.
it's mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is actually a big issue
Yeah.
for a lot of creators, especially creators from marginalized communities. They often don't have the resources or the knowledge to navigate these legal complexities.
Yeah, puts them at a real disadvantage
It does.
when their work goes viral like that.
Totally.
And LeBron's response when she realized what was happening,
Oh, gosh.
yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if there's a better way to protect creators,
I know.
especially when the internet is so unpredictable.
Right, because imagine you make something
Yeah.
that connects with millions of people, but then someone else swoops in
And legally benefits.
and benefits from it.
Wow.
It's really tough.
Yeah, it highlights like a real vulnerability
Oh, it's
for creators.
big time.
But then things took a turn, right?
They did.
Cassandra Pop, one of those filers,
Yeah.
she came out and said she actually filed to help LeBron.
I know, what a turn of events.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of community,
Yeah.
Public pressure can make a difference.
Yeah. And LeBron even posted a follow-up.
where she seemed so much more optimistic.
Yes.
She said, Mama got a team now.
I love that.
That shift from feeling lost and alone to having support.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It really is.
It makes you realize how important it is to have
Oh, yeah.
that network,
Especially for creators who are new to the business side of things.
Yeah.
Having people you can trust to guide you and protect you.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's so important.
So we went from like a fun TikTok trend to a conversation about intellectual property.
Yeah.
The challenges creators face.
Right.
And how important community support is.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quickly it escalated.
It is, and we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, really?
This trend didn't stop at legal battles.
Okay.
It caught the eye of some major brands.
Okay, so brands saw an opportunity
They did?
to like ride this demure wave.
They did.
Okay, we'll get into all of that right after this.
Sounds good.
So before the break, we were talking about how brands were like practically tripping over themselves
Oh, yeah.
to get in on the very demure, very mindful action.
They were all over it.
It felt like every other day there was a new campaign with Jules LeBron
It was a whirlwind for sure.
and her catchphrase.
You had Netflix, Zillow, Lyft, like all these big names.
Zillow even made her like their chief demure officer.
Right. Talk about a clever marketing move.
It is pretty clever.
That's like they're in on the joke,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, they're like, we get it.
We're part of the conversation.
We're hip.
Right, exactly.
But was it just about like jumping on a viral trend?
That's a good question.
Or was there something more strategic going on?
I think it's a little more nuanced than just chasing clout. Brands are realizing they got to connect with audiences in a more authentic way, like relatable, Yeah. They're seeing how these trends can tap into these cultural conversations.
Yeah, they want to be part of the conversation. Not just like shoving their product down your throat.
Right, it's about building a community.
So by like aligning themselves with LeBron and her phrase, they're kind of saying like, we understand the humor,
Totally.
the irony, even like the social commentary.
Yeah, they're like, we see you, we get it.
Yeah.
We're in on it.
We're not out of touch.
Exactly.
But that's tricky, right?
It is.
Like, what if a brand misses the mark?
Oh, yeah. It can backfire big time.
Yeah, they can seem inauthentic.
Totally.
Or even like you're exploiting the trend.
And people can see right through that.
Yeah, people are smart.
Especially online.
Yeah.
They can sniff out a fake from a mile away.
So brands have to really think about it.
Absolutely.
Does this trend fit with our values, our audience?
Do we actually get it?
Yeah.
Do we actually get
Or
it?
we're just trying to make a quick buck?
Because it's not just about fitting with values, right?
Right.
It's about understanding like the whole vibe of the trend.
Yeah, the nuances. LeBron's thing is all about irony.
Exactly.
You're right.
You can't just slap very demure, very mindful on a billboard
And expect it to work.
and expect to land.
Yeah.
You got to capture the essence,
The essence.
not just the words.
Yeah. And speaking of things happening fast,
Oh.
these collaborations came together so quickly.
It was a whirlwind.
Zillow did their whole thing with LeBron in like 4 days.
4 days. Can you imagine?
It's insane.
The marketing world moves fast.
That's so fast.
Trends come and go in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Got to be ready to pounce.
So it's not just about having a good strategy.
Nope.
It's about being able to execute it quickly.
You got to be agile.
Yeah.
You got to be flexible.
And there has to be trust
Oh, yeah.
between the brand and the creator.
Big time.
They got to trust each other.
Brands got to trust the creators.
Yeah.
Give them freedom.
Yeah. And creators have to work fast.
Right, and be able to adapt.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street.
It's like they're dancing,
I love that analogy.
It's
a dance.
back and forth.
You got to be in sync.
Yeah. And it seems like LeBron's got the moves.
Oh, yeah, she's killing it.
Her story is pretty amazing.
It is.
She went from like cashier
To working with major
to
brands.
flying around,
It's incredible.
hosting events.
The power of social media
It's amazing.
to change someone's life like that.
It shows you that you never know
Right.
what's going to resonate.
A simple video,
Yeah.
a catchy phrase.
A relatable story.
It can turn into something huge.
Yeah. And it shows how important it is to be yourself.
Authenticity.
That's what people connect with.
Yeah, you got to be genuine.
LeBron's willingness to be vulnerable, to share her experiences.
That's what made her stand out.
Yeah, it's not just about making content.
Right.
It's about connecting with people.
On a human level.
Yeah, telling stories.
Sharing ideas.
Yeah, that challenge us.
Make us think differently.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to very demure, very mindful.
It's more than a trend.
It's a reflection of our culture.
Yeah, questioning norms.
Celebrating individuality.
It's about, like, reclaiming words.
Redefining expectations.
Yeah, shaking things up.
And having fun while doing it.
With a little humor.
The little irony.
Yeah, because sometimes you just gotta laugh.
Especially these days.
Right.
The world can be a lot.
It can be heavy.
LeBron's giving us permission to not take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Embrace the absurdity.
Yeah. Find the joy.
Find the joy.
So as we wrap up this very demure, very mindful thing, let's remember, it's not just a fleeting internet trend.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's about who we are.
How we communicate.
What we value.
In this digital age.
Yeah, and who knows what's next.
Right.
We're very demure, very mindful.
Maybe it fades away.
Maybe it keeps evolving.
Maybe it sparks something new.
But it definitely gave us a lot to think about.
And a lot to laugh about.
So what can our listeners take away from this deep dive that they can apply to their own lives, online or offline?
Well, I think one thing that really stands out is the power of authenticity.
Yeah, you don't always have to be perfect online.
No, not at all. In fact, people crave realness, you know?
Yeah, they want to see the real you.
LeBron's success shows that.
Yeah, she was just herself.
She wasn't afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah, to share her struggles.
And it resonated with people.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for all of us.
You don't have to present this perfect, polished version of yourself.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget that.
It's okay to embrace those imperfections.
Yeah, those little quirks.
To make you relatable, you know?
Totally. And you never know what opportunities might come from that.
Just like LeBron.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing is understanding those online trends.
Yeah, it's more than just knowing the dance.
Right. It's about the deeper meaning.
Yeah, like what's the context?
What are the implications?
Because like we saw with very demure, very mindful.
Right. It went way beyond just a phrase.
Yeah, it sparked all these conversations.
About work, about intellectual property.
Even about what words mean.
It's about engaging thoughtfully.
Yeah, not just blindly following.
And maybe even with a sense of humor.
Yeah, humor is important.
Especially online.
LeBron's demure thing was so clever.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, it made you think.
It challenged those traditional ideas.
Yeah, and it started a conversation.
Humor can be powerful.
Yeah, it can be a force for change.
And lastly, don't forget about community.
Yeah, whether you're a creator or just online in general.
Having a support system is so important.
People you can trust.
People who get you.
Yeah, LeBron's story shows that.
A community can really rally around you.
Yeah, they can protect you, amplify your message.
It's a reminder that we're not alone online.
Yeah, there are people who get it.
Who share your values, your passions.
So as we wrap up this very demure, very mindful, deep dive.
It's been a journey.
Let's recap those key takeaways.
Be authentic.
Engage thoughtfully.
Find the humor.
And build your community.
Wise words.
Those are some great lessons from LeBron's journey.
Yeah, she's paved the way.
And who knows what's next for very demure, very mindful.
Maybe it'll stick around.
Maybe it'll inspire something new.
It's given us a lot to think about.
And a lot to laugh about.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
And be sure to tune in next time.
For another deep dive.
Until then, stay curious, stay connected.
And stay demure.
Okay, maybe just a little bit demure.